Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back once again, and welcome to those of you that are new to my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Massdrop Falcon that was designed by Ferrum Forge. This is the very first branded knife by Massdrop, and it was designed by our good friends, the masters over at Ferrum Forge. What we're looking at here is a super compact EDC style knife, meaning it's going to be very easy to carry on an everyday basis. 6.8 inches overall with a 2.9 inch blade made of S35 VN and a nice ergonomic finger choil. This is going to allow you to choke up on the blade if you choose to hold it in that manner instead of the standard manner, to give you a little bit more precision if you're cutting something a little bit that requires that degree of precision. You're looking at a titanium frame lock design with an integral stainless steel lock bar insert. Let's go ahead and focus on that. And what that means is you're going to get perfect lockup, reduced wear over time. It's not going to start locking up later and later and later, nearly as quickly as a regular titanium frame lock. And also, there is no lock stick. When it disengages, it does so very easily with no drama. That's a very big deal when you're getting into a titanium frame lock. Frame locks are very, very strong, something that you should definitely consider if you're doing any kind of hard work. Don't worry about, you're used to back locks or something like that, more traditional lock back here or in the middle of the back of the handle. This is an extremely strong system, and it's been used for, decades now by some of the greatest custom knife makers in the world, as well as production in mid-tech as well. Your frame is going to be 6Al4V bead blasted titanium, so it's going to be about the same strength as steel, but tremendously lighter in weight. And one of the things that I really dig about the design of this is that the frame is cut away to expose the titanium backspacer and the lanyard opening. So for those of you that choose to use a lanyard on your knives to help extract it from your pocket more easily, you're able to do so, and it doesn't uglify the design in any way. You've got a 3D machined titanium pocket clip on there. Great degree of retention. It's really nice to see on a knife that is meant to be inexpensive that you're getting a 3D machined titanium clip instead of a cheap spring clip, just a bent piece of metal. This is a very, very big deal for the price range that they're shooting for here. You've got a bearing style pivot, so it's going to be very smooth and very fast. And you're going to get the Hoback Rolling Detent in the lock bar, and we'll discuss that a little bit later. All that comes out to only 3.6 ounces in weight. That little 2.9 inch blade, just under 3 inch blade, is going to be legal in many more states, areas, counties, municipalities, however it's broken down where you live. There are certain areas that do keep restrictions on the length of the blade that you're allowed to carry. And this being a 2.9 inch blade, pretty much everybody is going to be able to carry it. Another side note here is the Massdrop name, and each individual knife will be individually numbered in this limited edition. So I think that's a pretty cool feature to have. It gives you that little feel of exclusivity. Now, for those that are unfamiliar with Ferrum Forge, it's important to know that you're buying from you're buying a knife that's designed by a custom knife maker. Elliot and Chris Williamson are custom knife makers in SoCal, who had decided a few years ago to begin offering more affordable knives and began doing a mid-tech production business. And that was so that they could drive their prices down and make in larger quantities in order to satisfy their large following of fans. And this has given Elliot and Chris a great degree of knowledge, because they've done this now for several years. I'll show you one of my oldest personal Ferrum Forges, the original Pretium. This was the very first time they had gone from a full custom knife to a mid-tech. Mine ended up being a full custom. It's not like any other Pretium, but the point was their work is phenomenal. I've been with them now for years as a collector, buying their knives anywhere from customs to mid-techs, and I've been extraordinarily happy with every single purchase that I've made. They just know how to make a great product, and they've taken that expertise now and they've they've seen all the pitfalls, they've seen all the things that are easy and all the things that are hard about making a more mass-produced knife. So when they designed this knife, it was done, number one, to be a radical custom design. This is not going to look like anything else out there anywhere near the price range that Massdrop is shooting for. It is going to be super reliable with all the things that you need, all the high quality materials, a stainless steel that is going to be extremely corrosion resistant and have a high degree of edge retention. That's what S35 is all about. You're going to get the titanium frame. You're going to get the bearing pivot so that it's smooth and fast and just glides. Look how fast that opens. It's a super, super fast knife. And the idea behind a flipper is it's super fast to deploy. You can open and close the knife with only one hand. You don't need to have two hands to do it. And honestly, flippers are just fun to flip over and over and over. You do have jimping on the flipper tab, by the way, so that when you engage that flipper, your finger doesn't slip right off the tab. It just grabs it and it flies right open. So they've perfected all of the things that need to be done to satisfy a large market and to produce a knife efficiently and properly with the highest degree of quality. So when they designed this knife, they took all the things that they know and put it into there. After Elliot was done designing it, they then turned this knife over to We Knives, and they're in China. Now keep in mind, We has a solid reputation, and they've built that very quickly in the knife community for exceedingly high quality, super fast action. And honestly, brands like We have broken the once prolific stigma of Chinese-made knives by proving they can make a strong, reliable knife that's near custom quality. And that is precisely what you're getting here. Let's give you a quick size comparison here, just so you understand what 2.9 inches really is. When we get into the Pretium is a larger knife at about a 3.5 inch blade. Mine, I think, is just a touch bigger than that. Another one that Elliot made for me was my Deadpool knife. That is another beautiful custom creation. And then my Mandalorian Mako, because I am a Star Wars and Boba Fett fan, he made that one for me. And you'll see that while I carry all of these knives, I'm going to put them butt to butt because everything in the world should be butt to butt. I carry all of these larger knives very easily and very comfortably in my EDC rotation. You'll notice here that the Falcon is much, much, much smaller, but it still is robust. It's still got very thick titanium. It's got a thick lock bar. It's got good thick blade stock, and I'll show you a comparison of that in a second. What you've got is a knife that can be used as a hard use work knife, but take up less room in the pocket, weigh a lot less. And you know what? Maybe you're just running around casually. Maybe you're not working with it. You just want a good knife to carry on you every day. Maybe you're wearing lightweight shorts. You live in a hot tropical area during the summertime, and ain't no way in hell you're wearing jeans out there when it's 95 degrees and 98% humidity. So you're wearing shorts. Lightweight shorts don't really work well with a big, heavy knife, and this knife has some weight to it, and that knife has some weight to it with the large blades there. So in those cases, the Falcon is going to be perfect. It's never going to be obtrusive in any way. Now you saw that my Deadpool knife here is a much larger knife in every respect. However, take a look at the blade stock. Very, very close. This is only a tiny bit thinner than the blade stock being used on the much larger knife. So you're getting the same degree of performance and obviously the same degree of quality that you've come to expect through Massdrop products, through Ferrum Forge products, and now through We Knives products. The other thing that's important to bring up is the fact that you've got the HRD. It's called the Hoback Rolling Detent. Your detent ball, if I can get the camera to focus in there, is right inside of there. And what that does, that is what holds your blade in the handle and keeps it from falling out. That pressure, that detent ball that's right in there, sits, wedges itself into a hole that's drilled into the blade, or a recession if you want to put it that way. And it sits in there under the pressure of the lock bar. When you flip it open, you're actually breaking past that detent. There it stays right in there. Sorry for bumping the camera on you. Now, a traditional detent is going to be just a ball that sits there stationary under the pressure of this lock bar, because again, that lock bar wants to move over and lock in place once the blade opens. So it's always under tension pushed up against the blade. So we've got a standard detent that is dragging a track, a groove into your steel blade. Not so with the Hoback Rolling Detent. As this opens, that steel ball bearing is actually rolling on the surface and providing about 80% less friction than a standard detent. So 80% less drag, producing less friction, means it's a smoother action, a smoother feel. And that is precisely what you want when you're using a flipper. We Knives did a fantastic job on the manufacturing of these. Nice, clean, ridiculously sharp edge. I like the fact that while it is branded, and everything has to be branded, the logo being simply laser etched into the blade here and not too large doesn't come off like a billboard. When you look at a lot of production knives, there's a lot of information usually on the lock side. There's all kinds of information that could be a model name, and then who designed the knife, and then any patent numbers that are on it, and then a logo here for the maker, and a logo over here for the brand of the knife, and there may be something on the back spacer and clip as well. And they really did a great job with keeping the design as sanitary as possible, as clean as possible. So what you've got basically here is a handsome, EDC-friendly, lightweight, super sharp knife that's made to handle any cutting task you throw at it. When you look at the shape of the blade, that's also very, very important. When you looked at maybe my Deadpool knife here, you see that my edge is very, very straight. This is a Wharncliffe style knife, or a sheep's foot style knife, however you want to break it down. It's more of a Wharncliffe to me. And it really is made, you can hack, you can chop, you can slice, you can cut, but when it comes to maybe you're cutting, let's say, a piece of 550 paracord, right? So I wanted to cut off a piece of this paracord. What I'm going to do is I'm going to want to take it and I want to rock it, and I want to make that super clean cut against a hard surface. As you see, I can't do that with this particular blade shape. That doesn't mean it's not a useful blade shape, it's just not useful for that kind of task. This is a much more well-rounded style of blade that I very, very seriously doubt you're ever going to come across any cutting task that this won't satisfy. You've got a nice, strong tip here. It's good for piercing and stabbing. You've got a nice belly to the blade, which is going to be great for cutting anything against a surface. Especially with that choil, again, you've got those little finer cutting tasks you want to take care of. You can choke up on it and increase your precision. You've got a lot of different handholds here. This is not really a tactical, a true combat knife. However, you know, it's one of those things where last line of defense, if this is what you're reaching for, it would certainly do the job capably for you. So that's pretty much it. It is much less of a review and more of a heads up that this knife is coming, and an overview to show you what to expect and why I like the knife. And I do. I think it's a really, really badass knife. This is going to be dropping on April 18th. Now, I'm uploading here a couple of days prior to that to give you that heads up. Click the link down below that I put in the description. That's right there in the description. It will take you directly to the page for this. If you're unfamiliar with Massdrop, you're not just going somewhere, let's say like Amazon, for example. I'm not comparing Massdrop to Amazon. It's just the biggest online retailer I can think of. You know, you go to Amazon, something's listed there, you buy it, that's it. The price is what it is. You may have different vendors on there that sell third party through that distribution channel that may have slightly different prices, and some of them are used or refurbished, but generally the price is the price. When you go to Massdrop, Massdrop is unique in the fact that when you see an item that you like, the more people that commit to buy it, that click, I want to buy this, the lower the price goes. You can also request items. If, 6 months from now, you're just coming across my video here and these are long sold out, and you go to that page, it'll still show up and there'll be a little green button that says request this item or request this drop. And if enough people request it, it will come back if they're able to manufacture it again. So that's the beauty of Massdrop. They've built communities. They have an EDC community, which is flashlights and knives and other pocket tools and things like that. And they have every category you can think of in electronics and car guy stuff and all that kind of neat stuff. You go there, you click on this link, you see it, and the more people commit to buy it, the lower the price goes. I don't know what the price is going to show up when it first drops, and who knows how low it's going to go. But I do know this was built to be a very affordable knife with a custom design, with high-end features and high-grade materials, and that is exactly what we need more of. Don't buy just run-of-the-mill, everyday, generic production knives with billboards all over them and maybe okay steel and cheap folded clips. This is built right, it's designed right, and it works exceptionally well. I've carried this a couple of times already, and even though I'm not myself a particular fan of very small knives, I really enjoyed it. It's super cool. It reminds me a lot of the Ferrum Forge Scepter, which was another small knife that they made last year that I can very easily tell you sold for more money than they're targeting for this. So you're getting all those great materials and a great design. I think it's a great way to go. So if you like the knife as well, I'm not here to sell you on it. I'm here to tell you what it's all about, show it to you in full HD, even give you some close-ups, and it's up to you to decide how much you like it. And if you do, you just click the link below, and it takes you directly to the sale, and you can commit to make that purchase. I really do dig that backspacer design. Very slick, very cool. Yes, as you see, I have carried it. My apologies. Nice machine belt satin finish on there. Very clean, very even. Nice grind lines. And there you have it, guys. The Massdrop, the very first branded EDC knife by Massdrop, the Falcon.